When me and her mother got together, I was trying to get her sister, her mother's sister. That's how it really started out. When what had happened, her mother pushed up and said that I'm gonna make you my man because her sister wasn't that into me at that time. And we made plans to spend that weekend together.
Did you get 2 girls pregnant at the same time?
Yes, I did, Your Honor, but I didn't mean to.
You didn't mean to.
That's the only thing I can really say. But it happened. But at the same time, she did call me a clown. I won't respect your court, but she looking like one. Like for real.
But she met.
His mom came down for Christmases,
birthdays, everything.
Gave us
and she
everything.
treated us like we was her grandkid. And it hurts me so much to hear this man sit here in this courtroom and lie to you like that. Honestly, spitting image, 100%. And you gonna sit up here and say that I'm not your son?
Ms. Robertson spills the tea about her wild ride starting at age 8 when she found out the dude she called dad wasn't her bio dad. Her mom pointed to Mr. McBain Sr., standing awkwardly as the defendant, and was like, yup, he's the one. Ms. Robertson, tired of the dad drama, hauled Mr. McBain to court to clear the air once and for all.
Ms. Robertson, your world was turned upside down at the age of 8 when you received the shocking news that the man you believed to be your biological father was not. You were informed that the defendant, Mr. McBain Sr., is your father. You've dragged him to court to prove that today.
Mr. McBain Sr. steps up, totally denying he's the father, thanks to a soap opera-worthy plot involving his military days and his then-wife's supposed side hustles. He's all, nope, not the daddy, with the confidence of someone who's watched one too many Maury episodes. He's convinced he's not the dad because, plot twist, he has receipts, or so he claims.
And you say during your military career you were married to the plaintiff's mother. However, you're certain that you are not her father because you claim her mother was unfaithful and you have proof.
Ms. Robertson throws back to a quirky childhood memory where her mom literally flipped open a phone book, pointed to Mr. McBain's name, declared, bingo, that's your dad. Little did she know, this random phone book moment would turn into a full-blown family mystery. At 8, she shrugged it off, but now she's like, wait a minute.
When I was 8 years old, my mother had sat me down. She had found Mr. McBain in the phone book and she said, this is your biological father right here.
She pointed him out in the phone book.
Yes, Your Honor. From that point, I didn't really think anything of it. I was 8 years old. It was kind of like it was nothing.
Ms. Robertson is baffled why Mr. McBain's name is chilling on her birth certificate if he's so sure he isn't her dad. She's waving around proof like a detective, and even the judge is leaning in for a better look. There's a vibe in the air that something big's about to drop, and Ms. Robertson is all in for finding the truth.
If he's denying it, why is his name on my birth certificate? Why did he sign his rights away? I have proof right here.
I can see it's still affecting you, even as an adult woman. This
Yes,
memory of being told this at 8 years old and having so many unanswered questions.
Yes, my name may be on there, Your Honor. However, it's on there because the state put it on there. I had nothing to do with putting my name on her birth certificate.
Mr. McBain explains why his name ended up on the birth cert despite his protests. He was roped in by marriage laws, typical bureaucracy stuff. He also mentions letting another guy adopt Ms. Robertson because, well, drama. He's making it sound like he was just trying to do right by her, even though he's adamant about the not the dad bit.
Yeah.
So your name was automatically placed on the birth certificate as father. But even in that moment at the hospital,
I wasn't there.
you weren't there, but you would not have voluntarily placed your name on the birth certificate.
That's one of the reasons why I let Mr. Ayers go ahead and adopt her, because she did deserve to have a father. It's not her fault who her mother is.
Years later, Ms. Robertson had a super brief meetup with Mr. McBain, which ended with him ghosting her like a bad Tinder date. She recalls this moment with the kind of sadness that would win her an Oscar. Mr. McBain, on the other hand, acts like he's hearing this story for the first time.
I let it go until I turned right before my 13th birthday. And that's when I had told my mother that all I wanted for my 13th birthday was to meet Mr. McBain.
What did she say?
She got it for me.
I don't remember that at all.
Ms. Robertson, what do you remember?
It only lasted about 40 minutes. That was like more than anything in the world for me at that time.
In the middle of the courtroom, Mr. McBain throws down accusations like confetti at a parade, suggesting Ms. Graham, the mom, was playing the field while they were married. He's like a detective in a bad cop show, pointing out mismatched boots and coats as evidence of her infidelity. Ms. Graham's defense? A sassy. Those are your boots, buddy.
Was working 7 days a week for about 3 months straight. Went back home, and as I'm walking across the living room, I look over and there's a pair of boots and a coat on the floor, and a coat on.
Your Honor, those were his boots and his coat.
They were size 10, Your Honor. I wear size 12. I walked over to her room. I beat on the door. I said, I don't know who you are in there, but you've got 30 seconds to get out of my house, or you're going to be really sorry.
Mr. McBain pulls out the wild card, suggesting another dude could be the dad, because, get this, he was supposed supposedly sterile at the time. He throws in some details about the other guy's heritage, gets a twist in a bad detective novel. The court can't help but chuckle at his attempt to connect the dots in such a bizarre way.
Excuse me. And who is that?
It was an individual I was stationed with.
Yeah, you were stationed with a lot.
I know, and
But
so were
did-
you. The Coast Guard telling me I was sterile. The fact that the man's Hawaiian, he's Samoan.
Your Honor, this girl is white as white could be.
You're saying the other guy is Samoan.
Yes.
Ms. Robertson shares her deep yearning to connect with her roots and possibly siblings, making everyone in the courtroom reach for the tissues. It's a touching moment where she's just looking for a bit of closure and a few answers about where she comes from. Despite the courtroom chaos, her quest for family ties is seriously heartwarming.
Even if your account is true, even if she was sleeping around, if she was your wife and you were also sleeping with her, couldn't you potentially be Ms. Robertson's biological father?
I don't feel that she looks like me, as much like me as she thinks she does. Also, due to the fact of what the Coast Guard told me, and due to the fact that Miss Graham is a cheater.
The moment of truth arrives.
It has been determined by this court. Mr. McBain Sr., you are not her father.
So, here we go. Talk about a wake-up call. Ms. Walker drops a bomb about how a brush with the beyond has her scrambling to find out who her daddy is. She spills the beans on why figuring this out has jumped to top of her to-do list. Next up, grab your popcorn, because you won't believe who steps up to the plate.
Ms. Walker, you claim that your near-death experience has made your desire to determine your biological father more important than ever. After believing one man was your father, you learned about another possibility, Bruce Simmons. But you say you must first prove to his doubtful wife that he is your father.
And here comes the party pooper. Mrs. Simmons is having none of it, totally trashing the idea that her hubby could be the father. She's all about Ms. Walker cutting her losses and checking out other prospects. Buckle up, because she's not done throwing shade just yet.
Simmons, you contend that there's absolutely no way your husband is Ms. Walker's biological father. You argue Ms. Walker needs to let go of this fantasy and move on to another candidate.
Oh boy, here comes the waterworks. Mrs. Simmons starts dishing out the backstory with her man, insisting he's as fertile as a desert. She's pretty much calling her husband a dud in the baby-making department. Wait till you hear what comes out of the woodwork next.
We just got married 2003. I have 2 biological kids. We never made any. I believe my husband is sterile. I believe he can't make no kids. If we've been together that long and we ain't make none together, what makes somebody just pop up and say, oh, you the
And so the 2 children you have
are not his.
So you know you're capable of having children, but don't believe he is.
Yes.
Ms. Walker isn't just throwing darts blindfolded here. She's been detectiving around to pin down her bio dad, knocking on doors and shaking the family tree. She hits us with a twist about a medical emergency that's more gripping than a daytime soap. The saga continued, and you're gonna want to stick around for this.
So Ms. Walker, so why do you believe he's your biological father?
Your Honor, I went on this search, and I didn't particularly just go out and just pick this random guy. In the beginning, I was also told that there was another man that was on my birth certificate, and I was told that was my father.
Cue the dramatic music. A heart-stopping medical scare has Ms. Walker chasing down her family tree for a blood match. Talk about intense. Doctors drop the bomb that the guy she thought was her dad isn't a match. Just when you think it's all figured out, another mystery guest comes knocking.
I excluded him because, as you know, I had a near-death experience. I was going for a congestive heart failure, and in order to have this lung biopsy, they said that I can reach out to my family, and boy, they went for donor blood. So I called my dad that I was told that was and asked him to go and asked his family all to go down, give blood so I wouldn't have to have donor blood.
Enter Mr. Simmons. And man, he have a story to tell. He's reminiscing about old flames, weekend flings, stirring up more dirt than a gossip magazine. Keep your ears open. The tea is piping hot and ready to spill.
When me and her mother got together, I was trying to get her sister, her mother's sister. That's how it really started out. When what had happened, her mother pushed up and said that I'm gonna make you my man because her sister wasn't that into me at that time. And we made plans to spend that weekend together. So we spent that weekend together, and then after that, we lost touch with each other because she just turned around and she upped and left.
Things are heating up. Moment of truth time, and the judge is about to drop the mic.
It has been determined by this court, Mr. Bruce Simmons, you are not her father.
Did you catch that? Straight into the deep end we go. Ms. McDuffie, you are here today to prove that your ex-boyfriend, Mr. Edwards, is the father of your 2-year-old daughter, Samia. You say you are tired of the defendant denying your child and evading his responsibility. Is that correct? Yes, Your Honor. Get ready. It's about to get even juicier.
Prove that your ex-boyfriend, Mr. Edwards, is the father of your 2-year-old daughter, Samia. You say you are tired of the defendant denying your child and evading. You have real reason to doubt you are the father of Miss McDuffie's daughter. Claim after several attempts at trying to obtain a DNA test, you know today's results will clear you of any responsibility.
Hold on to your popcorn. This part's a doozy. Your Honor, these results are important because I know Mr. Sammy is the father. He's a pop-in and pop-out dad. One minute he's claiming her, the next minute now she's not his daughter. And at this point, I just want my daughter to be taken care of and get the same love and support that I had growing up as a child as well. And I just feel like it's unfair for us to have to be here today when I've allowed him opportunity. I've never denied him from his child, and I'm still getting a backlash as if this is not his daughter. Oh boy, keep your eyes peeled for the next scene.
I know Mr. Sammy Edwards is the father. He's a pop-in and pop-out dad. One minute he's claiming her, the next minute she's not his daughter. And at this point, I just want my daughter to be taken care of, get the same love and support that I had growing up as a child as well. And I just feel like it's unfair for us to have to be here today. I've allowed him opportunity. I've never denied him from his child. I'm still getting a backlash as if this is not his daughter.
Geez, didn't see that one coming. Thank you. I'll be honest, finally, about how I feel about the situation. She said I'm a pop-in and pop-out dad or whatever, just simply because she's a gorgeous little girl, I don't want to get too attached to her, get my family too attached to her, because I just don't know if she's mine or not. Strap in, backstory is a roller coaster.
Just simply because she's a gorgeous little girl, I don't want to get too attached to her or get my family too attached to her because, I just don't know if she's mine or not.
But you come see her all the time. Like, you're constantly there. You pop in, you pop out. One minute you calling her, can I see my baby? Can I do this with my daughter?
Well,
and then now you're not.
Here's where it gets hilariously tangled. So, Mr. Edwards, can you take me to the day you met Ms. McDuffie? How did you all meet? I saw her she was a waitress behind a bar. You know what I'm saying? I really ain't, pay too much attention to her till she really, walk from across the bar, I saw them buns and I had to proceed, brace yourself. Their fling starts with a bang.
I saw her she was a waitress behind the bar, you know what I'm saying? I really ain't, pay too much attention to her till she really, walked across the bar. I saw them buns. I had to proceed, I proceeded to the buns, I got a number, and at first, we were texting for about a week.
This relationship kickoff is comedy gold. I called her, I came and picked her up, and we got some good food, some good drinky drink, I guess I proceeded to those buns. The laughs don't stop here. Wait till you hear about the twist coming up.
I called her again, you know what I'm saying? So she obviously was out of the situation with him, I guess. And that's what it is, I called her, I came and picked her up. We got some good food, some good drinky drink. I guess I proceeded to those buns. Back to the buns.
Yeah, you might have proceeded to a bun in the oven, too.
Right.
Wait till you get a load of this next hiccup. Well, you were drinking that night. So then what? Do you all decide you're gonna date? Do you ever go on a date? Be in a relationship? Does this sexual relationship continue? Edwards. The plot thickens. And it's messier than a dropped pie.
So then what? Do you all decide you're gonna date? Do you ever go on a date? Be in a relationship? Does this sexual relationship continue?
I'm sorry. 2 weeks, like a week prior to, us having sex in the car, like the second date, she called me and said she was pregnant.
A week? 2 weeks?
It was a week.
No, it was not.
It was like a week.
Cue the circus music, because this just turned into a sideshow. Her ex and his whole family. What happened? Me up on social media. I'm talking about harassing the hell out of me. Talking about this is not your child. You're stupid. Why are you taking care of this child? Next up, the delivery room drama. Don't touch that dial.
Yeah, so you say her ex and his whole family?
Her ex and his whole family hit me up on social media. I'm talking about harassing the hell out of me, talking about this is not your child. You're stupid. Why are you taking care of this child? Or why you got her? Oh, not child, but why you got her?
How pregnant was Ms. McDuffie
like
at the
6
time?
or 7 months, you know what I'm saying, around that time.
He's lying.
Time for the baby grand entrance. Cue the spotlight. When Samia was born, who was there with you? Sammy was right there with me. me, holding one leg, and the nurse on the other leg, and he played Erykah Badu when I pushed her out. So he was right there. He was right there. The final verdict is next. Trust me, you won't want to miss it.
Sammy was right there with me holding one leg and the nurse on the other leg, and he played Erykah Badu when I pushed her out. So he was right there.
I'm more spiritual. I see you had the beads on. I mean, they look like African beads. You know what I'm saying? I'm very spiritual. So I wanted half of me felt like he was mine. So I still wanted to really, like, at least beat her.
You think that was wild? Just wait for the bombshell.
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Edward, you are the father.
Guess who just walked in? Yep, it's Judge Lake kicking things off. At the start, Judge Lake lays down the law in the courtroom. Ms. Haysbert is here throwing down the gauntlet against Mr. Howard, demanding a paternity test for little Ricardo Jr., who's just chilling at 6 months old, unaware of the drama. She claims Howard hasn't pitched in a dime or a diaper. Buckle up, folks. The tea is about to spill.
Ms. Haysbert, you are suing the father of your 6-month-old son for a paternity test. The defendant, Mr. Howard, has never financially supported baby Ricardo Jr.
Talk about a plot twist. Ms. Haysbert comes out swinging, accusing Mr. Howard of ditching her once the baby news hit after he had painted dreams of weddings and baby carriages. She drops another bomb. Howard's got another bun in the oven that's only 2 weeks older. Oh, and it's just getting juicy.
You also state that he once led you to believe that he wanted to marry you and even asked you to have his baby. But once you were actually pregnant, you say he abandoned you and has since fathered another baby who is only 2 weeks older than your child.
Hold on to your popcorn. Mr. Howard fires back, claiming he was duped into thinking he wasn't the daddy. And wait for it, he's also suing Ms. Haysbert for pawning Grandma's precious ring. The courtroom's heating up, and Howard's not playing around. You'll want to stick around for what's coming.
Mr. Howard, you argue that Ms. Haysbert told you that Ricardo Jr. was not your son and therefore is not your responsibility. You are countersuing for $1,000 in damages for a ring Ms. Howard pawned that was given to you by your late grandmother.
Now, let's take a stroll down memory lane. Ms. Haysbert reminisces about how she met Howard at a football game, and things got cozy from co-workers to more than friends. This backstory sets the stage for all the he said, she said that turned their world upside down. You won't believe what's next.
I met this clown at the Washington Redskins Stadium when we used to work together.
1 second. Let's use respectful language.
We're co-workers, and then after that, we became friends. Like, we used to chill with each other. After that, you know, we started having sex, and we got drunk. So, yeah, we got drunk and had sex, and that's how I conceived my son.
Drunk and had sex?
After that, like, I knew he had a girlfriend, and, you know, I didn't mind because we were just friends.
Ready for a roller coaster? Initially, Howard was over the moon about the baby news, according to Ms. Haysbert. But plot twist, he flips the script halfway through her pregnancy. The vibe shift, and not for the better. Brace yourself, the next part is a doozy.
Once I got pregnant, and I told him I was pregnant, he acted like he won the lottery. He was so excited. Oh, Junior, oh, I can't wait for you to have my son. He was so excited.
Where the money at? Where's the money at if I won the lottery?
As soon as my 5th or 6th month of pregnancy, he wanted to change up the tables. He wasn't there. He didn't even come to the doctor's appointment.
At about 6 months.
She's alive.
Yes.
This segment is hotter than a summer BBQ. Ms. Haysbert throws shade, accusing Howard of double timing with another lady. Howard kinda, sorta, maybe admits it, but doesn't seem to think it's a biggie. The court's gasping, and you'll want to hear what's thrown next.
And that's when the girlfriend started calling my phone, telling me, oh, they're still together, that he never broke up with her, that he lied, basically, that she lived with him.
Can't believe that you're lying in court.
She asked me, when did we start dating? And we were pregnant around the same time. So she was asking, his daughter was born December 27th.
This is a good moment that I think I want to hear from Mr. Howard.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Yes.
Grab your hats, we're diving deep. Howard confesses to unintentionally spreading his love a bit too thin, fathering kids with 2 different gals at the same time. The crowd's eating it up, and you can't make this stuff up. The drama's about to escalate, so don't touch that dial.
Did you get 2 girls pregnant at the same time?
Yes, I did, Your Honor, but I didn't mean to.
You didn't mean to.
That's the only thing I can really say. But it happened. But at the same time, she did call me a clown. I want to respect your court, but she looking like one. Like for real.
But she admitted that you slept with her, so it was obviously something about
you wanted this. So what are you saying?
I ain't put no gun in your hand.
Things are getting hotter than a telenovela in here. Emotions run high as Ms. Haysbert and Mr. Howard sling mud back and forth. Each claims the other is spinning a web of lies about their rocky romance and co-parenting chaos. Stay tuned because the evidence round is a real kicker.
She told you she was pregnant. You said, if it's mine, I'm gonna man up.
Yes.
But at some point, you said to yourself, this is important that I get a DNA test. You felt like this could potentially be someone else's child as well?
She was bouncing around.
I wasn't bouncing around. I was only with you. That's you. You were sleeping with me and Kiana at the same time. time. You had to lie and say that you weren't with her. Yes, you lied.
Why did I have to
You
lie?
told me that you weren't with her anymore.
Here comes Judge Lake with the hard-hitting facts. She pulls out the text messages that show Howard was all sweet on the baby, contradicting his courtroom coolness. The truth's out, and it's messier than a reality TV show. The grand finale is just around the corner.
Love you, babe. Kiss my son for me.
Kiss my son for me.
You're acknowledging him. How you going to deny him then acknowledge him? Thank you very much.
Okay, since we got so much about my son, since you trying to make it seem like I'm just a bad guy
why do I
and
have
all
to
this
catch
stuff,
the bus?
won't you
If
see?
you haven't, he was in the hospital.
Won't you see the text message that she wrote me and said that my son was dead? What about that?
And now, the moment you've all been waiting for. DNA results time.
Pertaining to 6-month-old London Howard. Mr. Howard, you are the father.
We know. Deborah, I don't sleep with everybody like Deborah do.
Judge Lake kicks things off by turning to Ms. Woods, who's there to drop a bomb. Mr. Volmar supposedly made her pregnant during their short fling, and now, guess what? He's playing the ghost game, acting like nothing happened. She's all in to prove he's the daddy and get him to pony up for child support.
Ms. Woods, you say you had a brief sexual relationship with Mr. Volmar, which resulted in him intentionally impregnating you. You say Mr. Volmar now refuses to take responsibility for his child, and you are here today to prove he is your baby's father.
Miss Woods spills the tea about their meet cute or meet crazy at a club while she was having issues with her baby daddy. She makes it sound like Mr. Volmar was practically love at first sight. They swapped digits, and the rest was history, including a nightclub romance and a whoops moment where she warned him she's super fertile, calling herself a fast breeder. The court cracks up at that one.
One night I went to the club and wound up running into Mr. Volmar. He actually walked up to me while I was having a drink. We exchanged numbers. I wound up leaving the club. He called me the following morning and asked me, can I come over to his house? I told him yes, but I had to make sure that, my baby father was leaving out for work that following morning.
Mr. Volmar gets his turn to be skeptical. Even though Ms. Woods hit him with the pregnancy news, he wasn't buying. It was his kid. Condom broke? Sure, but he recalls a few too many breakages to keep track.
So you admit you had a sexual relationship with Ms. Wood?
That's it.
You weren't in a committed relationship?
Never.
Once she told you she was pregnant, did you immediately think it was your child?
No.
You didn't. What were you thinking, sir?
I said, wow, congratulations.
Do you agree with her assertion that when
No.
you all had sex, the condom broke?
Condom broke. It was sex. It was fun.
And the condom broke?
Yeah.
Things heat up. Ms. Woods tries to set the record straight about who was doing what and when, which sounds like a daytime soap opera. She claims Mr. Volmar knew the score, but he's not having any of it, suggesting she was playing house with another man, too.
He automatically told me that he wasn't the father because I was staying with a man at the time.
You lived with him. You just
It
can't
does
visit
not
me.
matter. I was at your house every day, so how I had time to have sex with you and have sex with him?
In the bed with him. I mean, of course you're gonna have sex.
Ms. Woods, if you were living with him...
I was in a relationship
you
with
weren't
my
having-
other kid's father, but I was not having sex with him within that month I conceived.
Ms. Woods gives us the lowdown on why she strayed from her main squeeze to Mr. Volmar. It's all about the drama at home, folks. She was looking for a little fun, and Mr. Volmar was her escape hatch.
When I found out I was pregnant, I ain't have no choice but to tell him that he might be the father because I was staying with him at the time. So I'm stuck having a baby.
Are you?
Yeah, I had the baby.
By who?
By you.
Are you sure?
I'm positive.
You told
I'm
old boy.
100% sure.
I don't even know his name. You
Look
told your
at that
boyfriend.
baby. That baby looks just like you. She don't look nothing like me.
Judge Lake isn't letting Ms. Woods off easy. She pushes her to admit she stirred up this whole storm herself, and guess what? Ms. Woods actually agrees. Yeah, she messed up big time.
I mean, you've probably been going through some problems.
Right,
And that's what couples do. I mean, there's that old saying that, the way that you get over one person is to get under another person. But that's not true, as you can see.
Right.
Are you still in a relationship with the other guy?
No, and the fact is, he's hurt over the situation, but at the end of the day, I can't blame him.
The room goes silent as the DNA results are about to drop like a hot new single.
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Volmar, you are the father.
Thank you! Thank you! You're the father. Thank you!
Buckle up, folks. Here comes a wild one. Judge Lake kicks things off with the soap opera-worthy case of Heron, Medley, Johnson vs. Medley. We've got 3 grown-ups, 2 potential sons, and 1 maybe daughter, all here to find out if Mr. Medley Sr. is their dad. They're not just here for a casual family reunion. They're here to shake the family tree and see what falls out. Let's see how this family puzzle gets pieced together.
Mr. Heron and Mr. Medley, you are here to prove to Mr. Medley Sr. that you are indeed his son.
Yes, Your
And They say results of today's DNA test will force him to stop denying you.
Grab your tissues, it's about to get real. The Medley brothers spill the beans on how tough it was growing up Son's dad. They're not holding back, hitting Mr. Medley Sr. with the hard questions and letting the emotional floodgates open. These guys are looking for answers, and boy, do they deserve some. Hang tight, the emotional roller coaster is just picking up speed.
You had every reason to doubt all three.
It affected me in life. Want to know why he wasn't in my life. Why would you sign my birth certificate if you deny me as your child? It hurts me like all get out.
You might want to sit down for this part. The courtroom hears more tear-jerking stories about their childhoods, filled with fleeting visits from a grandmother who tried to patch things up. This segment is like peeling an onion. Lots of layers, and it might make you cry. And guess what? The next bit promises even more jaw-dropping revelations.
His mom came down for Christmases,
Birthdays, everything.
Gave us
and she
everything.
treated us like we was her grandkid. You guys are always gonna be my grandkid. And that hurts me so much. Honestly, spitting image, 100%. And you gonna sit up here and say that I'm not your son?
And now, the moment we've all been waiting for, DNA results time. Judge Lake drops the bombshell. Mr. Medley Sr. is the biological father of the Medley brothers. The courtroom's buzzing, the brothers are buzzing, even the walls are probably buzzing. Just when you think you've seen it all, the plot thickens even more.
Was after that. After he got burnt, that's when they got divorced.
And I want that for you all. I have the results.
In the case of Heron Medley v. Medley, you are the father.
Switching gears to Ms. Johnson, who's been waiting so patiently she deserves a medal. She dives into her life story, which is just as tangled as you'd expect. She's looking for closure, hoping Mr. Medley Sr. might be her dad. As the tension builds, you'll want to lean in for this next part. It's a doozy.
One day I was looking in my mirror when I was a teenager and I didn't look like her anymore. And I'm like, I don't know who I'm looking at. That I'm looking at in the mirror, I need to know. So I was like, Mom, so she told me his name was Victor Medley, but you are not to contact him while you are in my house.
Hold the phone, folks.
Mr. Medley Sr., you are not her father.
Okay.